Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing Uber Air. This project was created by Muhammad, Afrida, Ayumi, Karen, William, and myself, Omer. The goal of Uber Air is to tackle a niche market by turning a hobby into a usable resource. We will begin by having Muhammad discuss our problem statement.
Thanks, Umair. Customers may face many issues with the current systems in place. Something that many people value is privacy, and this is especially true for those who are introverted. While to some the exchange between driver and customer may seem simple enough, it can also be an experience that some could do without. Additionally, routes serve as the basis of which Uber is bound to. This means that factors such as traffic and signals can play a role in their delivery time. Furthermore, as it gets later in the day, the amount of available Uber drivers goes down. This leads to the next issue, which is implementation. Drones are expensive, and the kiosks needed to house them will require a lot of development time. However, the question we gotta ask ourselves is the new implementation even worth it? Well, unfortunately, the average American diet is only getting worse, and that is in large part due to our unhealthy schedules and the easy access to junk food. Now, understandably, this is a bad thing. However, it opens up a market that needs to be satisfied. Arguments can be made that because the market we are tackling is so small, it may not even be worth it. However, this is where COVID comes into play. COVID has made us spend a lot more time at home. The average American spends 67% of their time driving to go to work. With the rise of remote working conditions, this number has gone drastically down. Additionally, the number of Uber drivers is decreasing while gas prices are only going up. So what does this mean? Well, this means that the time spent is now more so for other purposes such as food and entertainment, meaning our niche market has suddenly gotten even bigger. Now, Umair will discuss how we aim to solve these problems in more detail.
Thank you, Muhammad. As mentioned earlier, with the implementation of drones, the social factor of having the customer interact with the delivery driver is now gone. This means that any sort of issues with the delivery can now be reported in real time via a camera on the drone. This helps those who are less inclined to be confrontational or simply do not wish to argue with someone. Next is the elimination of fixed routes. Because Uber Air traverses through the air, it makes it easier for the drone to make a beeline towards its destination. This now cuts down wait times significantly and essentially eliminates delays. Fortunately, the implementation of drones is already underway. With Uber's investment in self-driving vehicles, the technology for autopiloted drones is already there. Furthermore, the drones themselves are interacted with using the Uber Eats app. This means a lot of the UI and development time of the drones has already been completed. The next goal is to set up partnerships with major gas stations such as 7-Eleven in order to start a nationwide implementation of drone kiosks. This will cover most major hotspots that need Uber Air. However, even those areas that are remote and may be considered not a worthy investment will have the Air Partnership Program. This turns consumers' drones into Uber Air drones. Anyone with a qualifying drone will be able to sign up after a background check. This ensures that every single last area is covered by Uber Air. Now, will describe the scope.
So partnerships are going to be a really important part of getting Uber Air to take off as a platform. 7-Eleven is kind of who we're first eyeing as the first partnership, simply due to the volume of their convenience stores. I mean, 7-Eleven convenience stores are everywhere. You know, they work with Chevron, they work with Exxon. There's just a very high likelihood there's a 7-Eleven in your town. And once other convenience stores see the success of Uber Air at 7-Eleven, we expect them to follow just like they did with Uber Eats. You know, you remember with Uber Eats when that was taken off, you saw a few stickers, you know, Uber Eats stickers on the windows of restaurants and stuff. And then within a couple months, you just saw them everywhere because there was so much money to be made, you know, and you didn't have to pay delivery drivers. And this is really just one step further. Building drone kiosks at these locations is also going to be a very, very crucial step. These kiosks are going to act as the home base for the drones. So that's kind of where they're going to sleep at night, really. Having these kiosks next to the convenience stores is also very likely going to boost sales for 7-Eleven. So it takes no resources for them, you know, after we build the kiosk to stay there. So it doesn't take anything for them to get to 7-Eleven. So we expect 7-Eleven and other convenience stores that have these kiosks to have a very, very low delivery fee. Having Uber Air kiosks at these locations is actually also going to allow the brand to kind of establish a look and a presence for itself. So this is kind of our runway. I mean, this is where people are going to see our logo is outside these convenience stores. So it's really important that these kiosks look good and reflect on us. And finally, we're going to have to offer our air partnership to the less populated areas, just so we can reach the last remaining customers. You know, it's really important that we reach everyone, and Uber Eats unfortunately wasn't able to do that. But Uber Air is different, and we expect to reach just about everyone with Uber Air.
So in order to meet our requirements for the project goal, there are some requirements that's needed in the process. So I'm going to go into further details of exactly what the system must do and the characteristics as well as the behaviors they must have. So basically there are two types of requirements. There's functional and there's non-functional requirements. The first functional requirement that's needed for the system is the accuracy level that we must have where the drone will be delivering the orders to. And the next requirement consists of a weather tracker feature where the drones should be able to return back to the launch site if there's any unfavorable conditions while flying. And as far as the mobile application for Uber Air, users should be able to view their live tracking of their order being delivered with the installed camera on the device. The next requirement we have is the non-functional requirement. The operational requirement the system has to have is the compatibility with multiple operating systems. The application must be able to run on Apple, Android, and Fire tablet devices. The performance that the drone requires when it's delivering orders, the duration of the delivery must last no longer than 5 minutes within a 2 to 4 mile radius, and that's considering with orders weighing up to 11 pounds. And security features are very important as well and must be in place. As far as the detect and dodge feature that we must have on there, it allows it to avoid any obstacles or obstructions before it may crash or any of the damages to the drone. And finally, to meet the regulations, the drones must be able to fly below 400 feet above ground to prevent any collisions with the FAA regulated aircraft in public airspace. So this is our prototype that we created for our user interface. On the first screen, you're going to see the home page or the home screen, which is going to allow you to create an account or to sign in. After that, you're going to see your personal page for your account, consisting of your profile, your past order history, any of the Uber Air rewards that you may have, and payment options in your wallet. After that, the screen that it leads next is going to show you all the available drones that's nearby that's going to be ready for delivery. And under that, you're going to see your menu page where you can pick and choose your items for delivery. Then it's going to lead you to your payment screen. That's going to allow you to pick your payment options or enter in your card information. And that will finally lead you to your confirmation page, which allows you to see the drone delivery tracker.
So obviously drones don't need the same infrastructure as a car. So with Uber Air, we really expect to be able to reach people who we couldn't with Uber Eats. You know, people who were living out in the country on those back roads who didn't even have a driver near them. Or when they did, a lot of times the driver would get lost or confused and you either get your food cold or you wouldn't get your food at all. So we really expect these drones to expand the reach of our food delivery services. The kiosks and drones in higher populated areas should give users more options for delivery and shorten delivery times by about 3 to 5 minutes, which is awesome. You know, that just gets your food in your hands a lot quicker. So that's very good. The delivery system on the drone should address the odd issue of, ordering like a small amount of food, but then paying like a crazy expensive delivery fee. So we're going to kind of try and knock that out. In fact, we expect a 5-pound bag of food to cost about 88 cents. And, cheaper delivery fee, I would expect a lot more happy customers. So that's really great. And just using drones in general really kind of makes us more of a productive business. We're expanding our reach. We don't have to worry about traffic on the ground now. We're going up in the air. So that, and it also is another way to increase our revenue. It's another way for us to make money and make deliveries and get people food. So obviously with this, growth rates are expected to rise. We're going to be able to reach people in hard to reach areas that we weren't before. So we're going to have to really work hard to meet our consumers' growing demand for a great, convenient delivery service.
Next, we will be discussing the constraints and risks that could come up during this project. Starting off with the constraints, we have a time constraint where we wait for the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, to approve the use of drones for delivery, as well as potentially having to wait for airspace delivery regulations to be passed if other companies implement it as well. There's also cost constraint in integrating the drone pilots, as well as having to find the drone users in collaboration in this project. Some of the risks include being denied by the FAA in using drones, sales decreasing due to competition, and customers looking for more variety, more options. There is a safety risk from battery defects while delivering, and a possible privacy risk when flying over homes to get to the customer's location. In this section, we will go over our diagrams. Shown on the left is our use case diagram for the Uber Air system. It has 3 actors, a guest user, a user, and an admin. In this diagram, we will go over the use case description for placing an order using drone delivery for Uber Air. After the user has signed into their account, the user will search and select a restaurant, which will bring up the restaurant details because it is a mandatory association using include. From there, multiple use cases are shown using extend to search the menu, select quantity, add membership, add to save later, or buy now. When the user decides to buy now, the process will move on to make payment, which can be done by credit or debit card or from a PayPal account, which are both generalization associations. After that is completed and verified, the customer will proceed to checkout. The customer will choose the delivery option, which will be drone delivery in this case. A notification for drone delivery and arrival will be processed automatically due to the mandatory associations. And with that, this will complete this use case of ordering using drone delivery. Next, I'd like to pass it on to Frida to talk about our sequence diagrams.
Thank you, Ayumi. Sequence diagrams are a dynamic model that outline the sequence of messages that pass through multiple objects to reach its goal. In this presentation, we will be discussing the sequence diagram for a guest user that is in the process of creating an account. The user would need to go to the Uber Air website or app and provide information such as their name, email address, and create a username and a password. This will then go on to the system, which will check whether the username is valid and whether the password meets the requirements. Once the information is approved to meet all the criteria, it will go on to the verification stage of the process, where the user would have to confirm their email account and wait for approval. Once the information is approved, the user will get a message saying that the account has been created successfully and they will be able to log in and start ordering. Communication diagrams depict the dependencies among objects and emphasizes the flow of information and messages between objects. In this particular case, a user is trying to place an order through drone delivery. As outlined in step 1, the user would need to log in by providing their email address and their password, and by verifying their information. They will then go to the restaurant's site and add their preferred items to cart and select drone delivery as their preferred option. Once the user has provided their payment information and checked out their order, it will then go over to the administrator side, who is responsible for confirming the payment and selecting a kiosk that is close to delivery location. The administrator will also give the user a notification once the order is ready, when the drone is set for delivery, and when their order has been successfully delivered. This brings us to the end of our presentation. We believe that Uber Air will be a great option when it comes to optimizing food delivery services in the long run by reducing delivery times, delivery costs, labor costs, and will be better for the environment at reducing air pollution. With any project, there are constraints and risks involved, but if we are able to establish a set of regulations and minimize the risks, the process of delivering food will become much more efficient. We hope you like our project. Thank you so much for your time.